I would lose my head if it wasn't attached to my body. I left my Bluetooth speaker at McDonald's. What the fudge? What the fudge? Brownies and crackers. I knew I wasn't carrying something in my hands. But anyway, guys, let's talk about this. I want to start off talking about the iPhone 17 Pro. How you guys see multiple tests on Verizon Business on Visible getting over 3600 down. Not even the Samsung Galaxy S25 is getting those type of speeds on millimeter wave. I know that, of course, Sneed knows a lot more than I do about this stuff, about the chipset. What's up, Jim? And all that. But for some odd reason, on the Samsung panels, which they're Samsung millimeter wave, Apple, the iPhone 17 Pro, and guys, I'm not using the microphone because the computer's dead and it's plugged up to the charger right now. And you know that when I plug in the USB Type A, the computer goes crazy. So I can't use the USB Type A. I gotta use USB Type C on the microphone. And right now, my charger to the computer broke a long time ago, so I'm using the USB Type C to charge it. So that's a great part. Because if not, this computer would have been a brick. I wouldn't be able to use it. I wouldn't be able to charge it. But anyway, moving forward, it's crazy because Sneed was saying that the Samsung chipset is usually better than the Apple chipset. But yet, the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra can't get faster speeds on Samsung panels than the iPhone 17 Pro. I didn't make a video about this because it's my boy's phone. It's my boy. And we were both at McDonald's and he was speed testing his S25 Ultra on millimeter wave and he was only getting like 2,900 over 250. Then he tested again. He got 3,000, but he wasn't getting nowhere above 3,000 megs on the Samsung panels. What's up? What's up? ANC. What's up? What's up? So, he wasn't getting the same speed. So he was like, that's crazy. That's the 17 Pro. I'm like, yeah, look at it. He was like, oh shit. And it's way faster than my S25 Ultra. So I guess, the answer that Sneed was looking for, I basically gave it to him. He was wondering if the 17 Pro was going to, you know, underperform or overperform over the Samsung Galaxy S25 lineup, and it did. It did. My boy run multiple tests, and he got Verizon Business, and you guys know I got a Verizon Business line right now. And we were at the same spot at McDonald's, right next to the millimeter wave, and he could not get faster speeds than me. For nothing in the world, he can get faster speeds than me. So that leads me to believe that the iPhone is better. The iPhone is better. The iPhone 17 Pro is better than the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. When it comes to 5G, when it comes to 5G, what is that you guys call it? 5G Advanced and all that is better. Because you would expect these are Samsung panels. Samsung created the 5G in the East Coast. The ones that you guys see in my intro, right? That says Alex Raw Tech. The intro, those brown panels you see, those are Samsung panels in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And then the white ones that you guys see, like a whitish gray, that's what they look like in New Jersey. So basically, Apple with the iPhone 17 Pro just demolished Samsung. My pictures on the iPhone 17 Pro are out of this world with a 48 megapixel camera. Whether I'm using the ultra wide, whether I'm using the main camera, whether I'm using the 8x zoom camera, the telephoto camera, all the pictures come out of this world. This is a phone that somebody that's into taking pictures should own. So if you love taking pictures, the iPhone 17 Pro is the way to go. And I'm dead serious. The 5G advanced technology is just out of this world. Non-stop on C-band, I get over 800, 900 down. on C-band on N77, getting like 80 up. So that's stuff that he can't even pull on the Samsung Galaxy. He was like, "What the hell? The fastest I get on my Samsung Galaxy S25 is 500 down to like 50 up on C-band on Verizon, and right now we're over here by the fire station, and you're getting over 800." And it wasn't millimeter wave; it was C-band. Pings were 25, 30, 35, and the pings that I get on the iPhone 17 Pro are really low. They're 13, 9, 8, 7. You know, it's crazy. So the iPhone performs better than the let's say the iPhone 17 Pro performs better than the Samsung Galaxy S25 when it comes to 5G. When it comes to 5G, it performs way better. Way, way better. Way, way better. And I think that's really important. You know, what's up? What's up, bro? A lot of people were wondering how was the iPhone 17 Pro lineup gonna perform versus Samsung's S25 lineup, and it's just better. Like I said, my boy, today we were earlier, we were speed testing, you know, um, and my iPhone one, I was almost getting 4,000 down. It like throttled back down. I was like at 3,899, and it went down to 3,655. So the speeds, nothing much. Oh, okay, broski. The speeds on the Samsung are not the same as on the iPhone 17 Pro. You know what I'm saying? The Samsung comes out what in February. The iPhone comes out in September. So the iPhone has enough time to compete. You get what I'm saying? They got enough. Apple has enough time to say we're gonna tweak this, we're gonna tweak this, we're gonna tweak that. So when it comes to 5G advanced, it's just on a whole nother level. And you would think because Samsung and the Verizon ultra wideband panels are Samsung, the N260 and N261, and it's still out of this world. It is still out of this world. It is still out of this world. So um, the clear thing is that the 17 Pro is better when it comes to 5G advanced to millimeter wave and C band and all that. Is a way better phone. The iPhone 17 Pro is louder. The speakers are louder. The fire button speaker, the top where you listen to is louder. When you watch movies, is really loud. When you're listening to music, it's really loud. It's just the overall better performing phone. The design is something out of this world. Like I was watching Jerry Rig and everything before I started this live stream, and the only thing that scratches is the top where the camera hump is at. So he suggested having a case, and I always have cases on my phone anyway because it's easy to scratch. But this is a unibody aluminum. The only glass on this phone is the front glass, which is this. It's hard to scratch. It scratches at a level 7, deep grooves at a level 8. It's this Apple logo glass. This around here This piece, this is the only glass. The metal is all this. All this is metal. So this is the first iPhone that's encased in aluminum. But I wouldn't say the first iPhone encased with aluminum and glass, because if you remember the iPhone 5 and 5S were the same thing. They were encased in aluminum, and then you had a little slab of glass right here, and then all of this was aluminum. So they basically took a page out of the iPhone 15, the iPhone 5, and created the iPhone 17 Pro, which I don't mind. I don't mind. I don't mind at all. At all. Jimbo, what's up, Jimbo? My iPhone 17 is unlocked? Question mark. If you bought it from Apple, then it's unlocked. If you bought it from the carrier, it is locked. You gotta buy it through Apple and finance it on the carrier, and then it's fully unlocked. But companies don't want you to know that. They really don't. They want you to buy a phone that's fully locked, where you can't use it with another competitor until your phone is paid off. But T-Mobile can't say shit. Apple runs the show, so as long as I'm paying them the phone, they can't say nothing. Which I'm not planning to leave T-Mobile. So to me, it's just dumb. Like, that's why I wish I would have got the iPhone 16 Pro, financed it through Apple like I did with the 17 Pro, and right now the 16 Pro would have been unlocked. I could have been put, Boost and Visible on there. Because right now Boost is not performing the greatest, to be completely honest. It's even hard for me to send messages on WhatsApp to my friends and family. So, that's why I decided to get the 17 Pro and T-Mobile Business. And now I got T-Mobile Business and Verizon Business on the same phone. I don't gotta wait 24 months to get it unlocked. It is unlocked. So from now on, I'm never doing that again. Every iPhone 18 Pro financed through T-Mobile, bought at the Apple Store. If I decide to upgrade to the 18 Pro, because by the time the 18 Pro comes out, my 16 Pro and Boost will be fully paid off. It'll be 3 years old. So in 2026, next year, my phone will be basically paid off. So I'll upgrade it, but I'll make sure that I buy it on freaking my Apple website. I'll get it straight from Apple. That way it's fully unlocked. But yeah, the iPhone 17 Pro is truly a beast of a phone. A beast of a phone. And when I mean a beast of a phone, the thing is out of this world. The thing is out of this world. It's an amazing device to own. To be honest. To be completely honest. It is out of this world. I just love it. And what iOS 26, what? iOS 26 does have some jitters that to be fixed, to be completely honest. Like sometimes when I go into certain messages, it'll stutter. But, I know that'll get fixed eventually. But, you know, I had like 12 people watching my live stream, and just because I said the truth, people got mad and left. You see, that's what I'm talking about, guys. I don't need to be talking about politics, about Democrats and Republicans in order for people to get offended. I could be talking about the facts, the truth, that the iPhone 17 Pro is better than the Samsung 25 lineup, and people get hurt and they leave. So I can't do nothing about that. If I did the test and the iPhone 17 Pro won, then there's nothing to be butthurt about. They're gonna be even more butthurt when I talk to my boy tomorrow, because he's gonna come to my job, and I'll say, "Yo, bro, when I get off, let me hold your phone real quick. Let me do speed testing." And first, I'm gonna speed test the S25 Ultra and then the iPhone 17 Pro. And people are still gonna get butthurt. Oh, Alex is corny for this. Da da da. Man, my channel's called Raw Tech, bitch. That means I'm gonna give you the raw truth, whether you like it or not. And the truth of the matter is that the iPhone 17 Pro is better than the Samsung Galaxy. And the story. There's no its and buts. There's no, oh my god, I can zoom up to the moon. Da 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 da. It's a better phone. It's a better phone. And you Samsung fanboys out there, can you buy an unlocked Samsung and finance it with T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, and so forth? No, you can't. In order for you to get an unlocked Samsung, you gotta get the credit card, which I had with TD Bank, which is a piece of shit paper that's called Samsung Finance, and then with that Samsung Finance, then you can get yourself an unlocked phone and use it in whatever carrier you want. But you can't. That's why I say Apple's the best. You can't do the same shit you do with Apple on Android. You can't. You can't. Because not even with the Google Pixel. The Google Pixel that they give you is going to be locked to Verizon, locked to AT&T. It's not an unlocked version like the one that I got. So nobody else does it like Apple. And that's what people need to understand. Understand you guys have a lot, some people that watch me have a lot of hatred towards Apple. But I mean, what can I tell you? That's a personal problem. You know, if I did the testing and the iPhone 17 Pro is better than the Samsung Galaxy, you shouldn't be mad at me. You should be mad at Samsung. And not really at Samsung because the phone is basically about to be outdated. Now the S26 might be a different story. S26 might have, of course, it's going to have the latest and greatest from Snapdragon. I mean, yeah, Snapdragon, from Snapdragon. So it might have a better chipset than the iPhone 17 Pro. But right now, and this is what people fail to understand. All you Samsung people, right? You're dead wrong if you think that Samsung gets the majority of their money from their Samsung Galaxy lineup. You're dead wrong. You know how they make the majority of their money? Making screens for Apple. All the screens on the iPhones come from Samsung. All the screens. Every phone that was ever made, Samsung. Okay? Siri. Who owned the patent to Siri? Samsung did.
I can use Chat GPT. Could you try again? The Samsung is a You'll need to unlock your iPhone first.
See how both I said their name and both of them reacted. The 15 Pro and 16 Pro and 17 Pro. Samsung is the one that makes the screens for these phones. Samsung, Sony, I think it's Sony makes the sensors. I'm not too sure. I know Samsung makes the screen. Samsung makes more money off making screens for Apple than they do selling Samsung Galaxy. And I don't give a shit what Galaxy it is. They could be the A series, the expensive ones, the S series. Nope, that's not how they make money. What's up? What's up, Iceberg? So if you guys were real Samsung fans, you would know how Samsung makes their money. Samsung makes their money by making screens for the iPhone. And that is a fact. Now, whether you disagree or don't like it, I mean, Samsung's not going to care. You feel me? Millions of iPhones are sold worldwide. So Samsung's getting all that Apple money. So they're competitors, but they need each other. They need each other. They need each other. Because I can look it up on YouTube for you guys right now because I was actually watching a video on YouTube. Samsung makes more money making Apple screens. Watch this.
One of the worst things about the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra is the price is $100 higher, which means that it's more resale value. They always get significantly more money whenever you sell them online. And the trade-in value, it's more than what you'll get for any Android phone anywhere else.
Okay, this is actually not entirely true. Now, I would agree that iPhones tend to have better resale value than Android phones, but when it comes to trade-in value, that's where it can be a little bit different. Because sure, if you go to some third-party retailers, you might...
No. Companies always give you more for an iPhone than they do for a Samsung.
What kind of iPhone is this?
It's a Samsung with an Apple logo. That's funny as hell. That is super funny.
What if I told you that several of the parts in your iPhone was supplied by Samsung, one of Apple's biggest competitors? It may be surprising, but both companies benefit from this relationship due to the way each of them does business. Apple started as a product retailer, not a manufacturer. And although they did operate the assembly lines of early Macintosh computers, Apple never made their own memory chips, processors, or displays. Instead, they submitted designs to third-party manufacturers, leveraging their expertise in existing assembly infrastructure. Companies like Apple are called fabless. They design and market hardware while outsourcing the manufacturing to someone else. For example, they designed the iPhone, but Foxconn manufactures it. This approach also extends to individual parts. The A16 chip is custom designed by Apple, but it's fabricated by TSMC. And for years, Samsung operated as a manufacturer, supplying lithium-ion batteries, semiconductors, image sensors, camera modules, and displays to companies like Apple, Sony, and Nokia. It helped Samsung become more successful, although all the big money was in becoming a leading consumer brand. So in the late 90s, Samsung formed a new business strategy to create their own premium mobile phones and compete with Apple, Sony, and Nokia directly. That's when things got a little awkward, since after the iPhone was revealed, Samsung literally created a handbook detailing every aspect of the device that they should copy for their own smartphone. This prompted a lawsuit from Apple for patent infringement, which they eventually won. But despite the bad blood between them, Apple and Samsung need each other. Apple doesn't have many display suppliers to choose from. They tried diversifying by purchasing from LG and BOE, but those companies simply didn't have the scalability and consistency of Samsung. That's why, even to this day, over 70% of the display panels used in iPhone 14 models are from Samsung. And if you're wondering why Samsung doesn't just cut Apple off from their components, it's because Apple is their biggest customer. So preventing them from buying their parts doesn't only mean significantly less revenue, but it also means Samsung won't benefit from economies of scale, since the panels they use in their own Galaxy devices are subsidized by Apple's large display purchase orders. So while they may not like each other, Apple and Samsung would only be harming themselves by ending their business relationship. This is Greg with Apple Explained. Thanks for watching till the end, and
There you go. So where does, once again, there's no reason to argue with me when you hear the proof. Where does Samsung's majority of the money come from? Apple. There you go. You had a YouTuber explain it to you that goes deep and dives. So you guys can hate Apple all you want, but it has Samsung parts in it. The screen, some of the internals, like some of the cameras, and all that, Samsung. And Samsung always gives the best to who? To Apple. The best displays, Apple. The best cameras, Apple. Because I'm gonna give my best hardware and stuff to the company that's making me the most money. I'm not gonna care about the Samsung consumer because they're not making me enough money. There's not enough people buying Samsung Galaxy. So that's dumb. I'm gonna give it to Apple. I don't care if they're my biggest competitor. And you heard that. Samsung came out with a phone to compete with Apple because it's true. Samsung back in the 90s, they were making DVD players, TVs, car radio speakers, and stuff like that. They weren't a cell phone company. They started mobile because of Apple. They was like, you know what? If we can make this hardware for Apple, then we can definitely do this hardware for ourselves. And then they tried to copy with the Samsung Memoir. Yeah, the Samsung Memoir was a direct copy of the iPhone 4. Well, the iPhone 3GS. And like you heard him there, Apple won the lawsuit for patent infringement, and they had to change the design of their Samsung. So, like I said, as much as you can hate on Apple, Apple is what makes Samsung the most money. So, what does that make? What does that mean? That the iPhone is going to be better than the Samsung. That's what that means. So, a lot of people could disagree. There's a lot of people that don't really like Apple. But when you hear facts, there's no disputing facts. You know what I'm saying? And there's other videos from other YouTubers talking about how Samsung makes the most money by selling.
If you were Samsung and Apple came up to you and they're like, "Hey, we're back. We want to buy 100 million new OLEDs for our brand new iPhone Air, whatever, and it's got to have this amazing high brightness and perfect color calibration." If you were Samsung, what if you just said, "No, yeah, we won't sell you the screens"? Then suddenly Apple has a supply chain crisis on their hands and they have to use worse quality displays, and suddenly Samsung screens are way better, so everyone buys Samsung phones, and then Samsung wins, right? But it's not that simple. And it's really entirely just because of the economics. Samsung makes so much money selling displays, millions and millions of screens to Apple for the iPhone. And so the theoretical amount more Samsung phones they could sell if they sabotage the iPhone displays would just not nearly make up for the amount of money they lose if they don't have Apple as a customer anymore. Fun fact, Samsung came out with the Galaxy S8 in 2017. But you know what they made even more money from than the Galaxy S8? The iPhone 10. Because they sold so many hundreds of millions of iPhone 10 displays to Apple that it actually made them more money as a company. Apple needed roughly 180 to 200 million OLED panels for the iPhone 10. So of course they keep doing it, despite being competitors for the exact same customer. This dynamic has been real for a number of years now, but there are rumors it may eventually come to an end if Apple were to, say, switch to micro LED displays for a new iPhone and have to find a new supplier. That could be tough for Samsung. Kind of the same way that when Apple switched to their own design chips for Macs and stopped using off-the-shelf Intel chips, that was tough for Intel. But for now, money talks. But here's another partnership that has surprised some people. Apple and Google. And this is one that's been in the news a bit lately because the power of defaults is very, very powerful in the tech world. People, most average people don't really change their default. They don't even know how to change the default. So on a super popular mass market product like the iPhone, any third-party services that get chosen as a default automatically inherit millions of users. And they kind of set the tone for that experience for all those people. It's very powerful. Think about ChatGPT being plugged into Apple Intelligence, or even back in the day when YouTube was an included app on that iPod Touch and the old iPhone. Remember that? Am I getting old? Anyway, you know how when you open up Safari on the iPhone, you got that bar at the bottom that says search or enter website? So if you start typing a search query, Google search suggestions automatically start popping up. And then you hit go, and it takes you to a Google search page. That's some pretty powerful real estate for Google. That could have theoretically been a Bing or Yahoo search. It turns out Google has been paying Apple $20 billion every year to stay the default search engine in Safari on the iPhone. Just for that, $20 billion. And because it's one of the most popular phones in the world, and there's millions and millions of searches going through, all of those searches are now Google searches because they paid to be the default. And that's a partnership both companies have been willingly participating in for years because it's a no-brainer for both of them. For Apple...
So there you go. You got the second largest tech guru on YouTube, Mr. Marques Foles, KBHD, explaining why Samsung makes more money. El café eso no se aspiró. Eso es todo natural. Se me olvidó que estaba ahí. So, explaining how Samsung makes more money off Apple displays than it does off actual Apple sales, their own Apple Samsung Galaxy lineup. So like I said, I don't talk on my ass when I'm telling you that Apple is better than Samsung. That's not just, like I told you guys, I do my due diligence. What is my due diligence? Listening to people that know about this shit more than I do. And who's gonna know? Who's gonna know more about K more than KBHD about this shit? When the guy gets every free fucking Galaxy that comes out, every free iPhone that comes out, whatever damn phone he wants. He wants a free Samsung that's gonna come out. They ship it to his ass. So of course you can't compete with somebody that has 20.4 million subscribers right now and knows what the hell he's talking about. So I'm sorry for the curse words, but it's true. But for you Samsung fanboys, let's hear this again.
Apple and Samsung hate each other, but they also need each other in a real way. So I was looking at this random YouTube short the other day. It was comparing like the S25 Ultra to the iPhone 16 Pro, and one of the top comments reminded me, most people don't actually realize that Samsung makes the displays for the iPhone. So yeah, Samsung, who has their own line of smartphones with high-end OLED displays, makes the high-end OLED displays of their rival, the iPhone. And this is at the top of my list of fascinating company relationships where the economics more than outweigh the public rivalry. Now, the high-end OLED iPhones typically have several suppliers. Sometimes LG chips in a little bit, sometimes some others, but it's mostly Samsung because they're the one display company that can reliably supply these high-quality screens at a massive scale with the quality that's up to Apple standards for the iPhone. Now, it's funny, if you were hearing this for the first time and you were thinking, if you were Samsung and Apple came up to you and they're like, hey,
So there you go. So Samsung makes the screens. They make the screens for the iPhone. And that's how they make all their money. They don't make their money off your Samsung sales. They don't really care about Samsung Galaxies. The only reason they did it was to try to compete with Apple. And they found out they couldn't compete with Apple. They can't. They really just can't. You see how loud my Samsung, not Samsung Galaxy, my iPhone 17 Pro sounds? It sounds super duper loud. And this is my 17 Pro where I'm playing KBHD's video.
back, we want to buy 100 million new OLEDs for our brand new iPhone Air, whatever, and it's got to have this amazing high bright.
You know what I'm saying? So, and
and perfect color calibration. If you were Samsung, what if you just said, no, yeah, we won't sell you the screens? Then suddenly Apple has a supply chain crisis on their hands and they have to use worse quality displays, and suddenly Samsung screens are way better, so everyone buys Samsung phones, and then Samsung wins, right?
And of course, I'm on T-Mobile Business. I'm watching them in 4K, KBHD in 4K, 2160, as you guys can see here. 2160, which is 4K, but no issues, no lag or nothing. Look at how clear the iPhone 17 Pro iPhone 17 Pro looks. It is because of Samsung. The OLED displays are from Samsung. So that's what you guys need to understand. If it wasn't for Apple, there wouldn't be no money to have your Samsung Galaxy. So if it wasn't for Apple, you wouldn't have a Samsung Galaxy in your hands right now. So always remember that. You could talk all this shit you want about Apple, but if it wasn't for Apple, which I'm going to let KBHD explain it, if it wasn't for Apple, you would not have a Samsung Galaxy in your hands, because Samsung is the only one that can mass produce the screens for Apple, and they meet Apple standards and requirements. Let's hear KBHD talk about this.
It's not that simple, and it's really entirely just because of the economics. Samsung makes so much money selling displays, millions and millions of screens to Apple for the iPhone. And so the theoretical amount more Samsung phones they could sell if they sabotage the iPhone displays would just not nearly make up for the amount of money they lose if they don't have Apple as a customer anymore. Fun fact, Samsung came out with the Galaxy S8 in 2017. But you know what they made even more money from than the Galaxy S8? the iPhone 10, because they sold so many hundreds of millions of iPhone 10 displays to Apple that it actually made them more money as a company. Apple needed roughly 180 to 200 million OLED panels for the iPhone 10. So of course they keep doing it, despite being competitors for the exact same customer. This dynamic has been real for a number of years now, but there are rumors it may eventually.
There you go. So where does Samsung make all their money from? Apple. Not your Samsung Galaxy, Apple. So if they weren't making money, if they weren't selling screens to Apple, they wouldn't have as much money as they have. So yeah. Sorry to ruin your whole, your whole despise of Apple, and Apple's not better than Samsung, and Apple's piece of shit, when your company wouldn't even have a damn Samsung Galaxy lineup at all if it wasn't for Apple. You heard it. That's the factual truth. I had the Samsung Galaxy S8. What sold more than the Samsung Galaxy S8? The iPhone 10. And what OLED display did the iPhone 10 have? Samsung OLED display. So they made more hundreds of millions of dollars selling the OLED display to Apple for the iPhone 10 than they made off the Samsung Galaxy S8. And I know that's a hard pill to swallow, but you gotta swallow it. Money talks, bullshit walks, and that's the way it is. So like I said, if it wasn't for Apple, Samsung wouldn't be around. So every time you're gonna talk shit about Apple, say thank you, Apple, because if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have this Samsung Galaxy in my pocket right now. Because they made enough money selling OLED displays to Apple from the beginning, since the iPhone 3, since the first iPhone, it was just called the iPhone. They sold enough of them displays to Apple to actually launch their own Samsung Galaxy phone lineup, like on the first video that I let you guys hear. So that's what I say, guys. Don't doubt when I say stuff. I actually listen to people that do tons of research on this shit. Tons of research on this shit. So what does that mean? That the Apple's better than Samsung. The better OLED displays on an iPhone. I understand, Samsung lets you do all these bells and whistles, put in the code. You can switch what bands you're connected to. Me, I don't really care about that, guys. I really don't care about switching bands, connecting to this and connecting to that. The phone picks whatever bands it wants, and I run with it. I don't really care. I'm not into that switching bands and picking this and picking that. I mean, it's great. I'm not knocking it, but I'm just saying that's not my forte. That's other people's forte. I leave that for my other friends. Like Sneed likes doing that. Loaf, my brother from another mother, likes doing that, and I respect that. But me, I don't. That's not my forte. I don't really care. I care if I'm connected to N41, if I'm connected to millimeter wave, if I'm connected to C band. I want to see that. But to turn off certain bands and turn on certain bands, that's to see. I don't really care. What's up, Bobby? I don't really care too much about that. So like I said, people are gonna get pissed. People are gonna get pissed on this live stream. I mean, that's natural. Your hopes and dreams have been shattered by another YouTuber. It's crazy. I've been talking shit about Apple my whole life, and if it wasn't for them, the Samsung Galaxy would not exist. Somebody's probably punching a wall right now in their mom's basement. Here's a lot. Oh no, put two different videos. One from KBHD and one from somebody else that said exactly what Alex is talking about. My feelings are hurt right now. Let's see this one again.
What if I told you that several of the parts in your iPhone was supplied by Samsung, one of Apple's biggest competitors? It may be surprising, but both companies benefit from this relationship due to the way each of them does business. Apple started as a product retailer, not a manufacturer. And although they did operate the assembly lines of early Macintosh computers, Apple never made their own memory chips, processors, or displays. Instead, they submitted designs to third-party manufacturers, leveraging their expertise in existing assembly infrastructure. Companies like Apple are called fabless. They design and market hardware while outsourcing the manufacturing to someone else. For example, they designed the iPhone, but Foxconn manufactures it. This approach also extends to individual parts. The A16 chip is custom designed by Apple, but it's fabricated by TSMC. And for years, Samsung operated as a manufacturer, supplying lithium-ion batteries, semiconductors, image sensors, camera modules, and displays to companies like Apple, Sony, and Nokia. It helped Samsung become more successful, although all the big money was in becoming a leading consumer brand. So in the late 90s, Samsung formed a new business strategy to create their own premium mobile phones and compete with Apple, Sony, and Nokia directly. That's when things got a little awkward, since after the iPhone was revealed, Samsung literally created a handbook detailing every aspect of the device that they should copy for their own smartphone. This prompted a lawsuit from Apple for patent infringement, which they eventually won. But despite the bad blood between them,
there you go. And I'm going to show you, we'll turn on the camera because I need to show you how Samsung copied Apple. You see, that's the Samsung right there. This is the iPhone. Samsung, iPhone, Samsung, iPhone, Samsung, iPhone. I owned this Samsung in the past, but I didn't like this iPhone. So there you go. So you see, why did Samsung start a phone lineup? Because of Apple. So if you are upset, and I don't know what to tell you. I know you got people are even madder right now. Blah, 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 blah. Rah, 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 rah. I can't believe it. I can't believe that Samsung only started the Samsung Galaxy lineup and their phone lineup because of Apple. Oh my God, but Alex showed it. He showed the proof. There you go. So you get keep punching the basement door in your mom's basement or some shit. But facts are facts. Like I said, so there shouldn't be no reason for anybody to doubt me because I do extensive research before I come in here and say something. So, like I said, once again, you heard KBHD talking about it. You heard this guy talking about it. If it's not for Apple, then Samsung won't be shit. If Apple was to ever, like KBHD said, that they said that sometime later on, they're supposed to adopt something like, some other kind of display, OLED. I don't know what kind of display he said. And let's say Samsung can't mass produce it and they need to look for a new supplier. That's going to be a big hit for Samsung. A huge hit. I'm talking about hundreds of millions of dollars lost. Hundreds of $1 million that they're not making off the Samsung Galaxy line. So they don't need your Samsung Galaxy. They make more money off of Apple. So if they ever just wanted to say, screw this, we're not making phones no more. Just like LG did. Remember, LG used to be a cell phone manufacturer, and now they're not. So let's say LG wanted to do the same shit and say, you know what, we're tired of this shit. We make more money selling screens to Apple anyway. Let's say that S26 is going to be the last Samsung Galaxy lineup. We're not making no more S series. Then what you're going to do? You're going to hop on the iPhone train because you're going to be like, no, but I don't care if I talk so much shit about Apple, but the parts come from Samsung. The screen is a Samsung screen, so I don't have a choice. The S26 was the last phone, and, the iPhone 18 Pro Max is coming right around the corner in September. So I'm just gonna have to get an iPhone, and that's exactly what would happen. That's exactly what would happen. And these are facts, guys. I understand people don't like hearing the truth. Like, I don't understand why the truth hurts so much. If I was still an Apple hater, right? And instead of having a iPhone 17 Pro in my hands, I had a Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus or the regular model. I wouldn't be upset. I would understand because the whole reason Samsung was never a mobile manufacturer to begin with. You get what I'm saying? But the only way you're going to understand that is if you're around your late 30s or in your early 40s like me, or even in your 50s and 60s. Because all of us that were 80s babies know that Samsung was never a mobile manufacturer. I had Samsung bubble TVs. I had Samsung radios, walking around with Samsung radios, cassette players. I had Samsung CD players. I had Samsung CD players with a TV. I had Samsung Walkmans that played cassettes and you put the earphones over your ear. That's what they were known for. They were never, ever, ever known for mobile. Never, ever known for mobile. So you can't put Samsung in a pedestal that they can't be put on. You know what I'm saying? Nokia was an original a mobile provider. Basically, they started with mobile phones. You feel me? Who else? Motorola phones. Uh, LG phones. So, and then they did TVs and shit like that. But they started as a cell phone manufacturer. You get what I'm saying? And that's what people need to understand. That's exactly what people need to understand. That's just like in layman's terms, so you can understand it better. That's just like when Verizon and AT&T were one company, and they were called Bell Atlantic here in New Jersey, where they started in New Jersey, Bell Atlantic. And then the what do you call that? The stockholders got into an argument, like I explained it before, and one half said Verizon, the other half said AT&T, and they were still landlines. They were competing for your money. And then they had cable service later on. And then they had mobile service in the late 90s. But they were never mobile carriers to compete to begin with. They were landline providers that became mobile carriers. Just like Samsung was a TV and radio manufacturer and speaker manufacturer that became a mobile provider. They didn't start off as a mobile provider, just like Apple. Apple did computers until they and iPads and shit like that until they became a mobile provider. So the ones that sat in me that are not really around as much no more is really Nokia got sold off. They got a couple of mid Androids. They're not pushing anything big. So to me, they kind of like fell off. I was sad to see LG go. LG was one of the pioneers of cell phones. I was sad to see them go. I was sad to see Ericsson go. Sony's just too damn expensive, and to me, their phones are not better than iPhones or even Samsung to be paying $2,000 for a damn phone. So to me, Sony fell off because they don't know how to price their phones right, and they don't really got nobody that want to mess with them. The last time that any carrier had a Sony, I can't even remember. I think it was like the Sony Xperia 1 that T-Mobile carried Verizon and AT&T. But ever since then, not even AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile have wanted to do any type of business with Sony. Sony makes great devices. I mean, they get their displays from Samsung too. And they make their own. I don't know. I can't lie. I think the cameras are a function of Samsung and Sony. No, Sony does. Yeah, there's Sony sensors. So they make their own sensors. They make their own cameras. But you know what I'm saying? It's just they're gone. They're too damn expensive, too damn overpriced, and the phones are not all that great looking. You get what I'm saying? So it's like Samsung fell off. I mean, Sony fell off, and a lot of these OG brands that started with cell phones, they fell off. They fell off. The big dogs around here is Apple and Samsung. Apple first, then Samsung. And like I said, a lot of people get upset instead of saying, okay, well, that's the truth. I can't be mad. They make more money off Apple selling them screens than they do off their Samsung Galaxy lineup. So I got to think Apple, because if it wasn't for that extra income that they make off of Apple, and they made off Nokia and who was it? Nokia, Apple, and somebody else back in the past that I already forgot. then they wouldn't. They would have never. Well, the main reason they made the mobile is to compete with the iPhone. You heard the guy say. So either way, you can slice it however you want to slice it. If it wasn't for the first iPhone, you wouldn't have a Samsung. So you can hate all you want, but if it wasn't because of that, because this year, you know, Apple shot all the critics, a lot of the critics up. To be completely honest, the iPhone 17 Pro has great antenna. You know, it has a great Snapdragon processor. And I heard the 17 is getting great speeds too. So the 17 has 5G advanced in it. You can connect to millimeter wave. You can connect to, you know, whatever you want, whatever you want. You know, and I would hate to waste more money. I would hate to upgrade on my brother's line and get an iPhone 17 in blue or green. That's the two colors I like, that blue or that green. Just to prove to you guys and buy from Apple and get it fully unlocked and finance it on my brother's account, order it through Apple and get it fully unlocked and have, visible on there or even total and put the Verizon line over there and show you that it'll perform just as good, getting over 3,000 on fast. So, you know, and all these phones got Samsung screens. Every single one of them, from the iPhone 17 to the 17 Air. Well, it's called the Air. It's not called 17 Air. The iPhone Air and the iPhone 17 Pro, they all got Samsung screens. So imagine all the money Samsung just made off of Apple. Motorola, yeah, you're right, Motorola. So, they used to provide, a lot of parts for Motorola, Nokia, and Apple. But the reason they became a mobile provider, manufacturer, they started building their own phones was because of the first iPhone ever made. You know, facts are facts, guys. You can't get mad at the person that's just letting you down. Motorola's been cell phones longer than Samsung. Yeah, of course. Motorola has always been a mobile manufacturer. You know, they had the Motorola Star Track, which was like a $600 phone back in the day. You got the Motorola Razr. That's a phone that came out back in the day. Now they relaunched it, looking way better. So Motorola's been a contender. Like their budget-friendly phones sell a lot. I'm serious. Like their Motorola, what's it called with the little pen? Motorola with the little pen and all that. You know, they all sell great. They all sell a lot. So Motorola is good. You know, and even their high-end phones like the Edge. Like the high spec'd out edges. I like it. I like Motorola. We used to have a lot of Motorola. A lot of Motorola flip phones, bar phones. So they're great. You know. But the point here is that people get mad at Apple because they don't know the history of Samsung. They don't know that Samsung became what they are because of Apple. If it wasn't for Apple, they would have never done what they did. Motorola has been around forever, guys. Forever, ever, ever. But other than that, man, you know, um, like I said, the iPhone is louder, sounds clearer, the 5G connection is stronger. I mean, as an overall, I won't know until I fully unlock, pay off my iPhone 16 Pro, which that's going to take forever. I wish I would have bought it through Apple, and right now it would have been fully unlocked. And I don't know. We'll see how it goes. To be completely honest with you guys, we'll see how it goes. you know. But I do love, I like the Samsung Galaxy. I like the S25 lineup. I do. I like the S25 lineup. I'm not a Samsung hater. I just want to, speak facts. I know there's a lot of people that hate. Some things that Apple do, people don't agree with. You know what I'm saying? Like putting, like this year, the 17 has a 120 hertz refresh rate. Last year's model didn't. It had a 60 hertz refresh rate. So they improved that. You know, the phone is still the same price, and it's 250 gigs. Before, you were getting 128 gigs for $799, $800. Now you're paying $800 and you're getting 256. So I see why the iPhone 17 Pro doesn't go up to 2 terabytes like the iPhone 17 Pro Max, because the iPhone 17 Pro Max at 2,000 freaking dollars is a lot of money. That is a lot of freaking money. And T-Mobile did start doing 36 months finance, but only for certain plans, which I think that's corny. T-Mobile, if I'm going to say something, I think it's corny. I think 36 months financing should be allowed for every plan. Verizon doesn't have that, uh, like structured, like saying, well, if you get our cheapest plan, you got to finance for 24 months and you can have 36 months financing. No. AT&T, Boost Mobile, and Verizon all let you finance 36 months, whether you have the $25 plan, which is the cheapest plan on Boost Mobile, or the $60 plan, which is the most expensive plan. So I thought that was corny. When T-Mobile, Sneak first talked about it, and also Rando Geek, shout out to Rando Geek, talked about it on his channel, that T-Mobile was thinking about doing 36 months financing. I thought it was going to be all across the board, but no, it's not. It's only on a certain plan. So right now, yeah, well, mine was grandfathered plan with my brother don't qualify for 36 months financing. They would literally, I would really have to switch their plan to the Beyond plan just to get 36 months financing, which I think is corny. It shouldn't be like that. That's unfair to other people. So T-Mobile, I hope that if you watch this, you change that bullshit. And even on the business side, every plan from the essentials plan to the most expensive plan should have 36 month financing. The same thing with postpaid as well. Every plan, not just a specific plan. Okay, well, since you're paying $100 a month, you're gonna get 36 months financing. No, it should be the same all across the board. I want to hear that bullshit. You feel me? I want it even across the board. So if the iPhone, so if the Beyond plan has 36 months financing, every plan should have 36 months financing. And that is a fact. That is a fact. So, um, that being said, guys, I mean, what can I say? It's crazy. It is crazy that T-Mobile limited the 36 months financing just to a certain plan. Business doesn't even have 36 months financing, because I would have loved the day 36 months financing on my iPhone 64 gig, because right now I would have paid way less. Seriously, I would have been paying way less. Because look, I'm gonna pay $64 times 24. That's 1,536. Now let's do 30, 36. Even though I already paid the taxes on it, so that makes no damn sense. Then I'm paying $64. I'm gonna have to call them. So, all right. So that divided by 36 months, it would have been $42. 42 instead of 64. You see the big difference? A 20 something dollar difference. It makes a difference. It makes a difference. So I don't think that is cool. Or let's say 14. Let me see. 14.99 divided by 24. Oh no, I was doing it wrong. It's supposed to be 62.45. Well, let me change the number. 62.45. 62.45, and then if you divide that by 36, I'm sorry, not divided, times 36. So stupid. 62.45 times 36. Oh, wait. Divided by 36. That's $41.63. Mm-hmm. So it's cheaper. It is cheaper. The other way is $62. This one is $41.63. So either way, it's still $20 cheaper. You know what I'm saying? So you're saving money by doing 36-month financing. A lot of people might not like it, but when you're busting your ass working like I do, shit, today was my only day off. That's why I told you guys Sunday I'll do a live stream. You know, I mean, my paycheck is going to be looking good, but I gotta work. You know, the week starts all over tomorrow again. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like the speaker channel. I haven't been able to make really no speaker content. I mean, I got to probably review one tomorrow when I get off to work. But it's kind of hard to juggle, working so much and then it's kind of hard to juggle. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want my watch hours to go to waste anyway, on that channel because I got mad watch hours over there. Got like 2,000 something. And I don't want that to go to waste. So I got to put content on that channel. My friends were telling me that I should have traded in my 14 Pro, which I should have, and I would have owed less money on the iPhone, which is true. They were giving me what? Apple was giving me 340, 310, no 320 for this phone. And if I would have sold it, I would have made money. So right now the speed channel is still doing good. People are still watching content, 2,270 views. I mean watch hours. So see, I don't want to lose some watch hours. I gotta start putting more speaker videos, even if it's just deals on speakers, like I do on here with the phones and I do on this. But it's like I told people in the Alex Raw audio channel. It's kind of hard to juggle two channels. When you work so much. But yeah, guys, I mean, Total says Verizon. Like I showed you last time, that Total says Verizon. Right now, my Cricket line is disconnected because I couldn't afford to pay the bill. Just to be honest with you guys know I'm raw like that. I don't care. My services are disconnected, and now I'm gonna have to pay a $10 reactivation fee when it sucks. But my, Cricket line is not gonna be active till Wednesday, so I get my paycheck. So right now, my Cricket line is gone.
The wireless for calling is not available. Please try again later.
See, my Cricket line is completely because I reactivated this line, oh my god, this Total line, and I forgot that I was using the Cricket bill money to activate this Total line. So I forgot. Shit happens, right? But like I said, you see, Total says Verizon. It no longer says TFW on an iPhone. You see, it says Verizon 5G UW. And just to show you, I will dial 611 from the same phone, and you guys can hear it.
Thank you for calling Total Wireless.
Para español, marca dos.
I'm your virtual assistant. We and our partners may record or monitor this call for quality systems training and personalization. We may need to collect some information from you.
So there you go. Total now says Verizon. Verizon. Let's do a quick speed test. I got visible upstairs. I don't feel like carrying all them dang phones. And I'm going to leave this one upstairs anyway. It's picking up 5G. It's showing 5G UW, but it's just like low band 5G speeds. That's crazy. So this is where Total gets, like, I don't know. I'm gonna see what server. It's picking up the Verizon server, so that's just crazy. Look at them. Damn, 1,000 and something ping. That's crazy. You guys see that? Oh hell no, this shit's gonna crash. I'm in airplane mode. Shit's definitely gonna crash. Airplane moded in, but it got way better speeds. And this is the Total 5G Plus plan, of course. That gives you free Disney Plus with ads. Even though I never activated this Disney Plus. And I got the 5-year price lock guarantee. There you go. 221 over 9. Now let's see T-Mobile. T-Mobile. Let me bring down the brightness on the 17 Pro. We're going to go to Speed Test. Let me close all these. Speedtest.net. There we go. And this is T-Mobile Business. So we got 445 over 43. 43. Yep. 445 over 43.9. And I know what you guys are going to say. I want to see Verizon Business. No problem. Let me switch to ESA. It's only fair, right? There we go. Switching the lines. There we go. Now we got Verizon Business. Let's go back. This was T-Mobile. 445 over 43.6. Now let's see T-Mobile Business. On N77, baby. 31 ping. Oh yeah, Verizon is definitely having some type of issue. Hell yeah, look at that. We're struggling on the upload. We got 120 over what? Over 5? Oh, hell nah. You know what I'm going to do tonight? I'm going to do a speed test between Verizon Business and before I go to sleep. Verizon Business and Total. Which I know the priority is going to go to Verizon Business. But yeah, for some reason, Verizon Business is getting 114 over 3 over here. I don't know why. Let's see Boost Mobile. I'm going to turn off my Wi-Fi. It would be crazy if Boost Mobile gets faster speeds than Verizon Business in my house. This is the 16 Pro. The 15 Pro's upstairs charging, and it looks like it's about to crash. Let me close all these apps out. Come on, bro. Let me close out all these apps. Damn, I had a whole bunch of apps running in the background. What the fudge? I gotta watch Sneak's video on Boost. He made a video on Boost. What he's saying. Look at this. This is Boost Mobile. It's not even loading the speed test. I had the airplane mode and shit. There we go. Took it off of airplane mode. It's trying to connect. Don't tell me they shut down the native 5G from Boost, because you know they've been decommissioning, like Sneak said, a lot of native dish, so they could solely run them on AT&T. That's crazy. It's crashing. I'm about to find out right now. Give me a second, guys. Oops, wrong code. No, yeah, I'm on native dish. It's still active. But the speeds are non-existent. See, they can't even open up a speed test. Oh, there you go. Let's see what we get. It's about to crash. Verizon's supposed to be the best network. Yeah, you're right about that, Philip. But in certain cases, like right now, on the 17 Pro, it's not getting the best speeds. I mean, I'm at airplane mode. I just put my 17 Pro airplane mode, and we're gonna run that test again to give Verizon Business a fair shot. Oh yeah. Well, Boost can't even load up a speed test. It keeps crashing. That's just crazy. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on right now. 144 over. It's not. It's not. It's on standalone. The standalone is turned on right now, but it's not picking up mid band. It's not picking up N260. I'm about to see what the hell's picking up right now. Hold on, guys. Oh shit! I need to close down. Dummy. Okay, we got 20 megahertz of band 66. No, that's T-Mobile. All right, we got standalone, and we are on band 25G 10 megahertz. So we are not on. It's not picking up. I knew it. These speeds is not picking up C band. It's not connecting to N77. Yeah, bro. They're not the best because it's not picking it up, guys. It is not picking up. Now we got a see, it kicks it off. I don't know why. Now it picked up N77. We got 100 megahertz of N77. 100 megahertz of N77, but why is it giving me these speeds? See, I don't want to show the phone number, but you see, it says it right there. N77 100 megahertz of N77 band 77. So the thing is that I don't know why then is it so slow? Like what the fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be giving me at least the same speeds that the iPhone 14 Pro is on total. You see, because total's giving me better speeds. $309 over 11, well 10. So I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with with Verizon Business right now. Now, when it comes to millimeter wave, is a game changer. You guys seen it on the video. When it comes to millimeter wave, what? They are spanking everybody. They are really spanking everybody when it comes to millimeter wave. Millimeter wave is no joke. Ultra wideband. What's up, Joseph? What's up, bro? T-Mobile Business is getting great speeds. $437 over 40. Hold on, 437 over 59.6. Not bad. Not bad. So we're getting great speeds, guys. We are definitely getting great speeds. But yeah, guys, holy shit. It's about to be 9 o'clock at night. But yeah, guys. You guys seen the millimeter wave speeds getting 3600 down on Verizon Business. I wish I would have started recording when I was getting 3800 down, more 4,000 gigs. I mean 4,000 megabytes. What I meant to say. Imagine that 4,000 gigs. When I was getting over 4 gigs there. Yep. Imagine if it starts saying 1 gig up. That's crazy. That would be out of this world, guys. Out of this world. Out of this world. I'm gonna wait till it says 9 o'clock. Well, till it says 1 hour and 20 minutes because I need to get rest, guys. I gotta go to work early. Remember, not working at nighttime like that no more. I don't want to anymore. It's putting too much strain on my body. Going to work and then coming out of work to then go to sleep for like 5 hours and go to work again. I'm too old for that. You feel me? That's when I was younger. When I was younger, I could put all this toll, but age catches up to you guys. To be completely honest, I'm gonna put my health in jeopardy on Gucci. I'm Gucci. I'm good. So other than that, guys, to sum it up, it was to talk about the iPhone 17 Pro and the whole metal lineup. I mean, the whole metal unibody. The only thing, aluminum. The only thing that's glass is this part right here. I'll take it off the case so you guys can see it better. This is the only slab of glass in the back right here. And this is for the Qi wireless charging. That's why it needs to be glass. So this is that matte glass, like on the iPhone 15 Pro and 16 Pro and 14 Pro. This matte finish in the back. So that's the only slab of glass in the back. Everything else is metal, aluminum. And then in the front, of course, you got the glass. I got the glass screen protector already on it to protect it. And I got my favorite brand for cases, Spigen. And it protects the corners of this big aluminum square right here. And this is 1 terabyte. I go hard, I go home. My 16 Pro is 512, and my 14 Pro that I got in my pocket right now is 1 terabyte. My other 14 Pro is 256. My other iPhone 15 Pro is 256. So yeah, I don't got no phone that has 128 gigs. Mine's a 256 and better. So then, other than that, the design of the iPhone is great. I like it, more durable, and all I got really protect from breaking is this piece of glass where the Qi wireless charging goes. So I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to my brother from another one, Sneem Mobile Tech. You know, when Sneem Mobile Tech gets critical on the iPhone, I don't mind because he owns it. You know, he's giving his realistically expectations because the phones are expensive. But when I'm talking about, because to me, it's not an iPhone hater. You know what I'm saying? He owns both worlds. When I talk about iPhone haters, I'm talking about like people when I do lives from mobile that'll sit here and say, "Oh, your T-Mobile iPhone," like they did last time, your T-Mobile iPhone 17 Pro with your T-Mobile Verizon speeds, and them type of idiots that really don't even own the phone, never owned an iPhone, but just want to talk trash because they have an iPhone. I mean, sorry, they don't even have a Samsung Galaxy. They got, well, Samsung Galaxy, the A series. They don't even got the S series. You know what I'm saying? And they want to talk about that. So I'm talking to that spectrum of people. Not YouTubers that own both phones in general and just don't like Apple for what reason. One reason being that, you know, they skimp out on certain things. I don't know. I'm talking about the real Apple haters, the ones that have never owned an iPhone and own the cheapest Samsung or Motorola or Nokia and want to trash talk the iPhone just to make it clear. That's what I'm talking about when I say iPhone haters. And that's what I was talking about. All my other friends like Carlos or, you know, that he owns a lot of iPhones, if he wants to be critical, you know, if Sneem wants to be critical about it, and everybody else that I know that has owned iPhones, they're allowed to. Like I said, they have the phone, so you're allowed to. It's your money. I can't expect you. I can't get mad at you if you have an honest opinion on how Apple should change things. You know, it's just now they did. They made the iPhone better. The antennas on the top, the 5G antennas on the top instead of the bottom. In Samsung fan. Yeah, that's okay, Philip. That's fine. You know, you wouldn't get mad and leave my live stream. You know, when I said facts that the only reason Samsung was ever made was because of Apple, because I played the video. But you see, the 5G antennas are right here on the top. That's why it has this little soft plastic part right here. This is where the antennas are at. The N41, the N260, N261, N77, N78. All the antennas for 5G and LTE and all that are right here. Right on the top of the iPhone. Right here. This is where the 5G antennas are. Right here on the 17 Pro. And I don't mind it because that's on the top. It doesn't really bother me. Seriously. It doesn't really bother me. So is that probably why the speeds are better than on the iPhone, on the other iPhones and on Samsung? I don't know. We got to see what the iPhone 17, the iPhone, the Samsung Galaxy. But since they make the displays, man, that's why I'm getting dyslexic and saying shit backwards. So I got an iPhone / Samsung. Because Samsung makes the displays. That's why I'm making that. But I like Samsung phones. Seriously, I do. I like the S25 lineup. You know, I just like Google better because Google, the Pixels, what I'm trying to say. The Pixels are stock Android. You know, Samsung wants to add that One UI BS on top of the phones. I hate that. I like Google because Google gives me the updates as soon as they come out, just like Apple. The carriers can't control that. So by the time Android 26 came out, and Android 26 came out, I had my phone on Visible. If Visible, Verizon didn't have their little tweaks they had to put on it, well, guess what? Android doesn't give a shit. It's going straight to my pixel. And that's how Apple is. They're not going to wait for T-Mobile. They're going to give T-Mobile a deadline. If you don't have these updates that you need in place with our update with iOS 26, then guess what? Your updates are staying left out. You can do them at a firmware update at a later time. And sometimes it happens like that. So when it comes to Google stock at Google, not Samsung. Samsung will sit here and let T-Mobile and AT&T and Verizon take their freaking time. Oh, don't worry, don't worry. Our customers are used to getting the updates 9 months later after they come out, almost a whole year later. Don't worry. Take your time with your updates. Not Google. Google's like, no, biatch. This is your deadline. If the updates don't come out, I don't give a shit if the customer's using it on your T-Mobile service, your Verizon service, your AT&T, Boost, where the hell you got it with. If your firmware updates are not up to date by the time we launch this, you're out. And that's what I love about it. Samsung, Nokia, Blue, all these other brands cater to the carrier. Stock Android does not, and iOS has always been stock, so it has never catered to any carrier. It said either you come out with the update by this time, or the phone is not having your update, and that's it. And to my honest opinion, that's how it always should have been, guys. If I'm a cell phone manufacturer, I'm not going to cater to the company. I'm going to cater to my public, to the people that are spending their hard-earned money on my phone. Okay? And that's who I'm going to be in the story. But guys, other than that, like I said before, subscribe to my brother from another mother, Steam Mobile Tech, Carlos Gas Tech, Little Mac and JTV, Latrell Jennings, Tito Escobar, Beat Tech Reviews. Who else? Magnet Tech Reviews. My Alex Raw Audio channel, the speaker channel. You're going to see a lot of speakers. I got to go over 120 videos on there that you could choose to watch on the Alex Raw Audio. You're going to find me right away because I'm the only one on YouTube with that name. If you're interested on affordable Bluetooth speakers and all the above. And what else? And who else do I got to mention? I forget. Oh, Tim's in here. Tim, official Tim T Tech. You got his channel. Supporter of the channel, you know what I'm saying? And no, Tim is all one word. Raw Audio is all one word. It's together. It's not separated. It's just like on here. That Raw Tech is all one word. I like being different. I don't like separating words. I like having them together. But anyway, and I did say Latrell Jennings. I did say Magic Tech Review. I did say who else? Tech for your needs. And that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. You learned why Samsung created mobile because it's the first iPhone, and why they have so much money because it's the Apple displays, the OLED displays they supply to Apple for the iPhones. So, it's always good to learn something new, and I think it's really important for people to know that. For the people that hate Samsung, should really know this. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they hate Apple should really know this. So if it wasn't for Samsung, there would be no good Apple displays. And if it wasn't for Apple, there would not be no Samsung Galaxy. So it's a win-win situation. They get the displays that they want, the OLED displays that they want for the iPhones, and Samsung gets the money that they want to provide you with the next Samsung Galaxy S26 lineup. Which the Ultra got rid of the what was the other one called? The one that used to have the pen, the one that blew up, the Samsung. What? I forgot the name of them phones. Damn, what was that lineup? That they got rid of it. Oh, the Note series. The Ultra became the Note. They just didn't want to call it the Samsung Galaxy S25 Note, which they should have, but they wanted to call it Ultra. They gave it this own little special word. Ultra. Oh, shit. The Air's Ultra 10 is like one of the thinnest phones. It survived Jerry Riggs' bend test. Now, the antennas on there, I heard they're shitty. It only has, because Apple's using their in-house processor. So it doesn't support millimeter wave. It just has mid-band sub-6. Which sucks, because the phone starts at $1,000. And I think if a phone, I will agree with that with Steve. If a phone, he was critical about that, and I'm going to be critical about that. If a phone's price is sub 1,000, I don't give a shit. It's $9,999 $8.99 is 1 penny off. With taxes, it's gonna be more than 1,000. It shouldn't have sub 6. It should have millimeter wave. If I'm gonna pay 1,000, that's why I didn't get it. I'm serious. I was thinking about getting the Air, but then once they said that rumors leaked that the iPhone Air does not support millimeter wave, I said, hell no. No way, Jose. I'm not paying $1,500 for a 1 terabyte earphone with 1 camera and no sub and only sub 6. I was willing to take the sacrifice of 1 camera. But then when he said that it doesn't support millimeter wave, I said, no way, Jose. Because then I wouldn't be able to use it would just pick up C-band. That's it. Like the Google Pixel 6a, only picked up C-band and that's it. It did not pick up millimeter wave. But guys, I'm tired. Really tired. I need to go get my speaker where I left it. Get some ice cream, so like eat some dessert, have dinner, double cheeseburger with fries. I had the $6 meal from McDonald's. It's small fries, double cheeseburger, 4-piece chicken nuggets, and a small drink. And I didn't eat ice cream because I want to rush over here to do this live stream for you guys. Because I did promise you guys the live stream on Sunday, and I completed that promise. So guys, I'm gonna say thank you so much for your support. Keep watching, keep liking, keep subscribing. And I'm going to keep pushing out this content for you. Take care. God bless and be safe. You already, guys. And thank you for watching. Your boy, Alex Raw Tech, is out. And no worries. This is the permanent name of the channel. Alex Raw Tech. Never being changed again. Because remember, when I first started this channel in 2012, it was called Alex Raw Uncut Tech. That was the name of the channel. It had a super logo. Imagine Alex Raw Uncut Tech, and then that's when I changed it to Alex KO Tech, and then I changed it to Alex Tech Review, and now I wanted to do what I did in the beginning, but not have such a long word. Take the uncut out, and just put Raw Tech instead of having Raw Uncut Tech again, because I just feel like it's too long and my ADD just messes up. So I already just have it linked the way it is. I like it. I know you guys like it. So I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. You all